Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mohammed Hamza. Imagine voting in a national election where your vote feels like it does not count as much as somebody else's. This is the reality for millions of Americans under the Electoral College system. Today we are debating the resolution that the Electoral College should be abolished. I stand firmly in favor of this resolution because the Electoral College is undemocratic, marginalizes voters, and perpetuates inequalities. In the next few minutes, I will present compelling reasons why we must abolish this outdated system. First, let's define our key terms. The Electoral College is the body of electors established by the United States Constitution, which formally selects the President and the Vice President. To abolish means to formally put an end to a system. Our burden today is to show that eliminating the Electoral College will enhance democratic representation. The criteria for this debate will focus on fairness and equality in representation. My first contention is that the Electoral College is undemocratic. The Electoral College does not reflect the will of the people. In the 2000 and 2016 elections, the candidates who won the popular vote did not become presidents due to the Electoral College system. This discrepancy undermines the democratic principle that the votes should carry equal weight. How can we claim to be a democracy when the person with the most votes does not always win? This system distorts the voice of people, leading to a lack of faith in the electoral process. Secondly, the Electoral College marginalizes voters. The current system marginalizes voters in non-swing states. Presidential campaigning predominantly focuses on swing states like Florida and Ohio, while ignoring the concerns of voters in states like California and New York. This unequal attention leads to voters disengagement and a sense of their vote not mattering. For example, in the 2020 election, over 90% of campaigning visits were in just 12 states. This means that the voices of millions of Americans in other states were effectively silenced. Every voter, regardless of where they live, deserves to have their voices heard and equally valued. Thirdly, the Electoral College perpetuates inequality. The Electoral College gives disproportionate power to smaller states. For example, a voter in Wyoming has significantly more influence than a voter in California due to the allocation of electoral votes. Wyoming, with a smaller population, gets 3 electoral votes, while California, with a vast population, gets 55. This means that a Wyoming voter has more than 3 times the electoral power of a Californian voter. This inequality affects policy decisions, prioritizing the interests of smaller states over larger and more diverse populations. Such imbalance is neither fair nor representative of the democratic ideals our nation strives to uphold. In conclusion, the electoral system is fundamentally undemocratic and marginalizes voters and perpetuates inequalities. By abolishing it, we can move towards a fairer and more representative electoral system where every vote counts equally. It is time to ensure that our democracy truly reflects the will of the people. Let's work together to abolish the electoral system and create a system that values Americans' votes equally. Thank you.